Hey Clashers, let's take a look at the top 3 strategies that take advantage the most from the new stuff added in the new update, like the new troop level, like the new pet, the new equipment, or as well the new troop. We're going to make sure that we're ranking them with the number 1 army, making sure that it's taking advantage the most of the new changes. Let's get things started with the number 3 position. We're talking about the overall ground smash attacks. It doesn't matter if you're using the super witches, if it's the throwers, or if it's super bowlers or titans. Everything what is important about this is that you're using the warden walk with or without the fireball. We're going to bring the new troop and as well the new pet in this one, and it's going to make this strategy way better. Why exactly? Well, first off, the new pet makes sure that red mines are no problem anymore. With spawning an air troop which can tank those red mines, well, it's just an easy walk in the park because your healers should always stay alive. The next thing, especially with the double gem, if you're using the fireball, it's not as crucial, but with using the double gem on your warden, you will always have some issue with the time. But this new troop is making sure that the warden walk is working a couple of seconds faster, which is actually a really big deal considering that we have the new army camp capacity anyways, so we can just bring it pretty much for free to the already existing army which we were playing before the update. Making sure that the warden walk is a little bit faster, and this can be a big game changer then moving forward in the later stages because you have less likely a time fail. With that one, we're now just moving then in with the throwers as soon as the pathing is set up, which is exactly done as we're getting the expo out of the way. As soon as that, it's as usual, and at the same time, we are not forced to bring the Eternal Tome ability because our healers are safe. Yes, Black Knights can still hit us, but I mean, you have some test runes in the beginning, in the core of the base, you have the Phoenix of the King, and as well, you have non-stop the spawning of the new pet, making sure that all of the red mines are getting triggered. So all of the splash inside a base right now is not as crucial anymore for you and your healers are more likely staying safe. Because for a lot of smash attacks right now, it is all about keeping those healers alive, especially if you cannot always time that Warden Eternal Tome ability perfectly to protect the healers. On this one, with having non-stop those spawn troops, to be more specific, every 10 seconds, you are going to trigger those black and red mines with the Phoenix, and then the remaining red mines with the new pet. Super easy, super straightforward, and this is going to boost the power of ground attacks by quite a bit, which might sound strange because it's an air pet and it's making those ground attacks stronger. But this is kind of how it is right now. The healers are the most crucial thing as a base builder to get rid of, and with this pet, it's now only harder. I'm kind of looking forward to what the direction now is looking like, because ground attacks, if you can't take away the healers, will just overpower those bases. So I'm looking forward to like how to counter that as a base builder, but so far no clue, because what are you going to do? You can't really take down this pet because it's so far back, so this is guaranteed value. And as well, remember, this is like, this attack now went for 2 minutes and 30 seconds roughly. Every 10 seconds, it's 2,000 hit points. That is a lot of tanking on top of getting already the value with triggering red mines. But let's move forward to the number 2 position. On this spot, we have actually 2 armies. Overall, we're talking about air spam. It doesn't matter if it's dragons or super dragons or anything like that, but there's 2 ways on how this type of strategy became even stronger. The first one is going to be with the minion prince charge. The second one is just using the new pet. We're going to concentrate on the first one, on the minion prince charge. Unfortunately, you can't really bring the new pet because when you're playing this strategy, this approach, the warden is kind of like staying close to the minion prince, but then again, the new pet is staying so far back that you can't recall everything together, which makes it kind of a little bit useless, unfortunately, and this is why the owl is better. As well, after a lot of more testing, I have to say for me personally, the healing tome just works way better. But why is that the case? Well, the Rage Gem is quite nice for the Minion Prince charge, and it's typically saving you maybe 1, maybe if you're lucky 2 invisibility spells. But on the other side, with having Poison Towers right now being meta, with having the new Scattershot level in the last February update, now we have a Multi-Throwing Tower upgrade in this update, there's just so much splash in the base by now that the dragons are just dying too quick a lot of times. So you need the healing tome to keep them alive. And at the same time, because you're adding the warden on its own to the minion prince charge, you already have his DPS increased, so you're not really relying on the Rage Gem. So I think the Healing Tome just works better, but in the end, give it a try on your own. But in my testing, when I did this attack with the Rage Gem, as I was reaching the Clan Castle itself, like the building, all of the dragons pretty much died. With the Healing Tome, well, let's just take a look at the result, because that is so far working way more consistent, and typically it's always creating those overkills. As well, because I'm not bringing the Barbarian King, I like to use the Siege Barracks to generate P.E.K.K.A, which are then staying in front of the Archer Queen, so she has a little bit of extra protection. But you can as well remove the Royal Champion if you want to, and add the Barbarian King back if you want to have the tankiness in front of the Archer Queen. But in this combination, we still have that Royal Champion, which can snipe down any corner you would like to make sure that there is less likely any pressure on the dragons on the back end. As well, the Minion Prince with the Metal Pants is typically mostly used for safety purposes with the Minion Prince charge. But having it during the Dragon attack typically is not the biggest game changer, but it's not bad either, because it's at least a couple of hit point recovery, which can be quite nice. Otherwise, as well, another note, the Phoenix animation is still bugged, even though I love this because it looks really funny, like getting teleported in from the side, but don't worry, that is hopefully going to be fixed in the update. Otherwise though, take a look at that. It's going to be crazy overkill, and this approach is just going to become meta for sure. But if you're saying, iTzu, I maybe don't have the Minion Prince leveled up, or anything different, or like you don't like that, or you don't have the new equipment, for example, which is really likely, I guess, then you can just still go in with the Royal Champion charge or with this Masked Dragon. Both are the same approach, and both are benefiting from the new pet, which you should bring anyways then with the Warden. As soon as you're bringing the Royal Champion charge or the Masked Dragon, always bring the new pet on your Warden, and it's just going to be a really big deal. Because in the ground attacks, we already had this hit point non-stop generation of the new pet. Back then, it is mostly to really tank the red mines. On this one, it's less about the tanking of the red mines, and it's just in general that it's just generating so many hit points. Let's imagine a dragon attack, typically they're quite quick. They take around, 60 seconds, 70 seconds? That would be roughly 12 to 14,000 hit points, because every 10 seconds you're spawning a troop with 2,000 hit points. That is crazy. That is a crazy amount of hit points you're generating for free. Or on the other side, the other option would be the Owl. That is no fair comparison. So for this one, we have started with the push at like, I don't know, we took like 5 seconds maybe for the Queen opening and everything. So let's imagine at this point, I think that's right now, the first 30 seconds gone. So this is already 6,000 hit points generated for just using the pet. That is just crazy. It is really insane how much you get from this pet as a boost, and which is just so much nicer. For this one though, since we're not using a Minion Prince charge, we have the old common equipment, which means Henchman Puppet and as well the Dark Orb. I know a lot of pros are using the Metal Pants, but let me explain why they're doing it. On the hard mode, there is a restriction, which means there's less hit points on the heroes. So 2 Black Mines are already forcing the Minion Prince into its ability, which means this is quite quick. With this regular game, you can already tank 3 Black Mines. You're not hitting this important threshold, which means the Metal Pants is really wasted a lot of times, and spawning 2 tanks is just way more crucial. So don't get fooled, there's a big difference between hard mode and a lot of the key interactions. So don't just copy the equipment of the pros, it's a lot of times, unfortunately, quite useless. But let's take a look at the #1 strategy in my opinion when it comes down to taking advantage of the new update. Because just look at the army. We have the new Hawk Rider level. It's in there with the Super Hawks and regular Hawks. We have the new Yeti level. We have 5 Yetis in this army composition. We have the new Ice Golem level. We have an Ice Golem in there. It feels like we were building this army around the update, and everything was given a new level with this new update. But how do you play this? Well, first of all, it's a super easy and straightforward method where you're just placing 2 Yetis at the flank of your Log Launcher, King and Queen Hero Dive. Where do you go in though? Because you could go in anywhere on the base, right? The important thing here is the Clan Castle range. You want to make sure that you're inside the Clan Castle range to take down the Clan Castle with your King and Queen. Having triple Ice Golem on your Super Hawk Riders later on is a nightmare. You don't want to have that to happen, like an Electro Titan or something running around. You want to take down the Clan Castle troops with your Hero Dive. As soon as you have found the Clan Castle and figured out, okay, that's the range, You then want to pick the entry where you're taking down the most splash damage, which could be dangerous to your Hog Riders. And that's exactly what I did from the left side with taking down one of the scatters, then as well some other key defenses, and then we're entering from the top side as our heroes are still alive. That is the key thing. You want to make sure that, well, you have the split damage, which means heroes are taking damage, your Super Hogs are taking damage, and overall you take then efficiently less damage, because if you would play it after each other, then the defense would only concentrate on the heroes or only on the Super Hog Riders. When to use the abilities and as well the heal spells? Well, the key thing here is if there is too much damage on your Super Hog Riders, use the Warden ability. Otherwise, always prioritize the healers. The heal spell. A second option on when you should use the Warden, and that happened in my attack, if your Super Hog Riders are splitting and the Warden seems to follow only one group, then try to use it on the last second as the Warden is running out of the range of the second group of Super Hog Riders. This way you have everything protected and you can then concentrate on the bigger of those groups with the heal spell on the back end. For this one, getting the nice and easy face out with the Royal Champion ability kinda even swagged in the end. So, give it a try. Let me know if I had any strategies not in mind which were benefiting from this new update, or if you think, well, I maybe overranked one of the strategies. Let me know what you think on this one for sure. All of those strategies are down below, linked in the description. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys back tomorrow with a Clash video. Until then, see ya and bye bye.